The owner here says due to a tough economy and decrease in sales at the nearby Dragon Dome, he's being forced to close his doors. Jen, members of the Peoria County Board's Museum Committee, as well as the chairman of Lakeview Museum, say they've ironed out their differences, and they're about a day away from getting a plan together that will get the Peoria Riverfront Museum underway. Although Pat Sullivan and some other local bar owners say they're against a mandated smoking ban because they say it's hurt business over the past year, patrons seem to have mixed emotions. The city manager says that they are still predicting to have a budget shortfall of about $5 million in 2011. Legend has it, it's good luck to touch Lincoln's nose, and over the years, millions have come here to test the theory. Memorial Day observances took place across the country and here in Central Illinois. News 25's Jeff Muniz joins us live from the newsroom with more on a moving Memorial Day service in Peoria. Well, it's the industry that could get the economy moving again or bring it to a crashing halt. Today, the auto industry faces yet another bump in the road. In the wake of a tumultuous year for the nation, Peorians can find comfort in knowing that the city is getting safer. A bizarre sequence of events unfolded in the small town of Smithville Sunday. Officials say 43-year-old Crystal Sarek and her mother, 63-year-old Geraldine Worski, went to speak with Crystal's estranged husband when he opened fire on them. Authorities say Crystal Sarek and Geraldine Worski were shot in front of Sarek's home Sunday morning, just 1 block from the Smithville Bible Church. The alleged assailant is 40-year-old Joseph Sarek, Crystal's husband. Authorities say they were in the process of a divorce.
The one lady that was wounded obviously had sense enough to drive up here, and the people in the church were the ones that called for help and took care of her.
The Peoria County coroner says Crystal was shot multiple times before driving away, and Worski had been shot once in the chest while sitting in the SUV. She was pronounced dead in front of the church. Crystal Sarek was transported to OSF St. Francis Medical Center for treatment, but Joseph was nowhere to be found.
There are witnesses that identified him and gave us his name and everything else as the one that was doing the shooting. There were witnesses to the shooting.
After a search of the Sarek's home, police set out on a manhunt. Joseph Sarek was found hours later, armed, and walking down a road in rural Glassford. A standoff ensued.
We had a negotiator there that talked. Everybody there did a nice job, and no more people were hurt, and we were allowed to make the arrest.
Police believe Joseph Sarek acted alone. He's currently being held for murder at the Peoria County Sheriff's Department. He'll be in bonding court Monday afternoon. Neighbors say Crystal Sarek had left their Smithville home about a month ago to move in with her parents in Bartonville. Back to you. Gina, Mike, the special meeting on the budget taking place tonight was originally scheduled for about 2 weeks ago. However, city officials postponed that meeting in hopes that AFSCME and police benevolent bargaining units would agree to concessions. That has yet to happen. Now, through concessions made by other city bargaining units, as well as departmental downsizing and debt refinancing, the council has been able to reduce the city's deficit from $14.5 million to about $650,000. However, 16 police jobs and about a dozen other city positions are still on the chopping block. According to the city spokesperson, those jobs will remain at risk unless those bargaining units act quickly. Last week, AFSCME workers filed an unfair labor practice against the city, citing they had not received a detailed offer to vote on from the city despite the threat of layoffs. Now, the city spokesperson says city officials have sat down with the bargaining unit several times. All offers made were rejected. Now, the budget must be approved by this time next week. We'll have more of the story tonight at 6. Live from City Hall, I'm Gina Ford. Back to you. Pat Cape knows water meters like a Cubs fan knows disappointment.
That's most generally what is in most of the houses in Peoria right now.
He knows how to do most any task at the Illinois American Water Distribution Plant.
These are 3-inch, 4-inch, and 6-inch meters.
As he should. Cape was hired when he was 20.
I've worked here for 42 years.
He says he started as a laborer, worked his way up the ladder, meter reading, and later running service trucks, turning on water to residents, and occasionally playing the bad guy. Turning off people's water?
Yes, I have done that.
Pat retired less than 2 months ago and says the water business was the best thing that ever happened to him.
It's a great place to work. You get a chance to grow. It's got good benefits. You like the people you're working with, and you like the type of work you're doing.
Pat Cape won't be the only one embarking on his next phase of life. In fact, the spokeswoman for Illinois American Water says that over the next 5 years, about 25% of their workforce is expected to retire.
Different positions across the board, from meter shop to distribution to production to administrative assistance.
Karen Cotton says about 40 years ago, there was growth in the American Water Company, and many people like Pat Cape were hired. Now those baby boomers are hitting retirement age, and it's opening a door for a new workforce.
We expect over 150 jobs to open up.
And that's just in the state of Illinois. American Water is in 32 states and Canada, and the spokeswoman says those places will likely see the same trend. In a time where jobs are scarce, Cotton urges people to look into the water business.
There's always a need for water, always. I don't ever see that changing.
And Cape says after more than 40 years on the job, he still considers the water world an exciting arena, constantly changing and ready for new talent.
If you quit learning at the water company, they better check your pulse because you may be dead.
In Peoria, I'm Gina Ford. 33-year-old John Terhorst has been coming to Towerline Speedway every month since it opened more than 4 years ago. He says with his disabilities, this was the only family entertainment complex that accommodated his needs. How long do you usually stay?
I try to stay all day.
He's not able to walk on his own.
And there's not much else I can do.
Not much else you can do.
Yeah.
But you can drive this car.
Yeah.
I'm on the Grand Prix track here at Towerline Speedway. It's one of their biggest attractions, and the owner here says due to a tough economy and decrease in sales at the nearby Dragon Dome, he's being forced to close his doors.
The ASA and ISA ball tournaments they have up there, that brings in out of the area people that are looking to spend tourism dollars.
This past summer, Speedway owner Steve Heimbaugh went to the Pekin City Council hoping to borrow $5 million to buy the Dragon's Dome. He had plans to relocate the Speedway to an adjacent lot and add attractions, but his request was denied.
Up to or beside the dome, where we could basically control our own customers, control our own destiny, if you will.
The owner says it's bad enough the Speedway is closing, but his 12 employees will be left jobless. In addition, 8-year-old Gabrielle Jansen will need to find a new place to make pocket change as she gets tips to help out around Towerline.
I'm really sad because I like working here with Hannah and doing all the stuff I like doing out there.
Here they come, Bubba. Oh, look at that!
Local Towerline customers say it will be a shame to see the Speedway and all its attractions close, as there are very few places in the area that have these types of activities for all ages.
I believe it will be. I really do, because they employ a lot of people. Everybody's so nice out here, and it's a lot of entertainment that's close. We live in Pekin.
And before Towerline Speedway closed its doors for good, photojournalist Joe Bennett and I took one last lap around the track. Fun indeed. In Pekin, I'm Gina Ford.